50 years ago, 49 young people left the auditorium at FARMVILLE High School as graduates, facing a world full of war and filled with tumult. They left with joy in their hearts, with great hope for the future. Tonight, May 1, 1993, 24 members of this class have returned for their 53rd reunion. We're at Longwood College in the Virginia room, and we're celebrating the golden anniversary of our graduation from FARMVILLE High School. The committee consisted of Connie Gills, Mary Noblin, Marion Hubbard, Dick Moore, Frank Baldwin, Al LaFoon, John Wilson, and Billy Watkins welcomes you to this auspicious occasion. We hope that you will enjoy this evening, that you will remember old times, renew friendships, and just have a delightful time on this occasion. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Billy. It's been a pleasure doing all of it. It really has.
And somebody else can do it next time.
In 10 years, we're going to be back, okay? 2003.
No, promise. Speak had already left. enough of this foolishness. Dinner is about ready to be served. If you will a drink, if you can, take one with you and come in. And we do not have any name tags. Just make yourself at home. Our guests, Walt Payne and Calvin Bass and his dear wife, are sitting at the head table. Wherever you find a place, sit down. Make yourself at home. And it's so good to see you. Share a drink if you would like. We have a little Bible study class group in our church, and I always started off by dearly beloved. I don't think I know of any group that I can say dearly beloved more appropriate than this one. You know, some 50 years ago, there were a group of young children, really, 17 and 18 years old.
16.
16. Who walked down the aisle at FARMVILLE High School and took their diplomas in their hand and walked out and faced a very difficult world. We were in the middle of World War II. We had a great many problems facing us, but I think we faced it unafraid. Some fear and a little worry. Tonight we come together again, and after some 50 years, nearly 50 years, for a golden reunion. And it's good to see everybody here. We have lost some of our friends, but we still have a whole lot left. Your committee of Connie Gills and Mary Doblin, and I'll be sure I got everybody, Marion Carrington. I got Alzheimer's, you know. Marion Carrington and Dick Moore and Frank Baldwin and John Wilson and Al LaFoon and somebody else has done a little bit about this. They've done. Let me tell you something. When you get girls doing it, they do a great job, and they have done a magnificent job.
You can't depend on them, man.
Yeah, you can't depend on them. But it's real wonderful to see you, and we hope that you will enjoy this a little warm. The air conditioning, because of the state budget cuts, is not working. But everybody, yeah, right. Somebody said, you know, if the governor was here, we'd have air conditioning. Well,
There you go.
we ain't got it. Anyway, it's so good to see you all. We hope that you will enjoy it, that you will reminisce over old times, that you will renew acquaintances, and just have a ball. And we will start off our session tonight. We'll call on John Wilson to give the invocation. John, would you like for him to stand? Please stand for the invocation.
before the invocation. I don't quite have the volume Billy has, so we'll do our best, and I'd ask you to bow for the invocation. Father, we pause at this time to give thanks for many things, to many people, for many memories. We thank you especially for those who have influenced our lives in the classroom, faithful and dedicated teachers whose patience we tested, leaders who so often put our needs on a priority beyond the call of normal duty. We thank you for the many happy events that we recall, and we thank you for the opportunity of sharing these events with each other on this landmark occasion. We thank you for the lives of those classmates whom we knew and loved, who have been called into your presence, having graduated from this life to existence beyond. And we pause now to remember each with our silent prayers as we remember each by name. Calvin Edgar Baldwin, Robert Locke Crawford, Andrew Jackson East, Walter Shipman Farley, John Patterson Meanley, Robert Lester Wilkerson, Margaret Alma Crawley, Mabel Perkins Dudley, Irma Gertrude Jones, Margaret Virginia McQuarrie. Lord, we ask that you hear our silent prayers for these classmates. Now, Father, we ask your blessing on this gathering and on this food which nourishes our bodies as we celebrate together. In our Lord's name, amen.
Several years ago, Mom and I were going to Florida, and we were riding down the road, and there was this van full of children. It looked like a passel of children in there. And it had a sign on the back, "Are we having fun yet? Are we having fun yet?" Yeah! Sure we are. Well, it's so good to see you all, and I hope that you enjoyed the meal. I was looking to see if the people that helped us so much at Talmadge were here, but apparently they snuck out the back door. But if you see anybody come in, let's give them a round of applause, because it has been great, I'm sure. It really is.
That's nice.
You can tell us more. I also have to say this in protection of myself. Connie Moore and Norma Watkins did the arrangements on the table, and if you will give them a round of applause, I appreciate it. And I can tell you, they spent some time on it. They really worked on it.
It shows. It shows.
Yeah, stand up. No, you're in time. We have some very special guests, of course, with us tonight. We have Calvin and Bee Bass. Calvin put up with us when we were in high school, and Bee put up with Calvin while he was putting up with us. Calvin, if you and Bee will stand. And of course, our dear friend Walter Payne. Walter, you told me you were 80, what? 80?
I will be 86, the 11th of July.
Hey, many folks can say that now. Let's give Walter a big hand.
But I want to tell you one thing.
Okay.
Don't put it off 5 more years before your husband.
I don't think we're gonna do that. I don't think. Well, as we say, it's great to be here, and what I'd like to do now is to kind of go around the room and let everybody tell a little bit about themselves. I'm gonna call on John first. Who you are, who your guest is, right? Those things, right?
Grammatically, that's all right.
That's good enough. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you've been doing, share a little bit. After that, we are going to turn this over to Mayor up at Carrington, and I ain't going to vote for that. I think it's going to be kind of terrible, but anyway, let's start off with the good part and let everybody share a little bit and tell about themselves. John, I'm calling you first, if you will.
But I don't want to tell on myself.
Come on, Gene.
I'll tell on you.
No, you won't either, Kurt. I've been hanging around here since the last time we had a reunion, and Jean has put up with me all that time. I'll tell you this much. I met Jean when she was a student at Longwood. She was going to school there.
You picked her up on the street.
I'll tell you this, she's still going to Longwood. She's a slow learner, but we're learning together. We're delighted to be here and having a good time. Thank you.
Mayor, y'all going down the line.
All righty. I'm Mary Clemens Noblin. This is my husband, Kerry Noblin. After graduating from FARMVILLE High School, I went to Longwood College, majored in business administration, worked for 1 year for Virginia Electric and Power Company, and then this handsome guy that just got his commission as a Navy pilot knocked me off my feet, and we were married, and our first deal was spent in Norfolk, Virginia. He was assigned to the Roosevelt carrier and stayed down there a year, and we have been in FARMVILLE ever since then. We have 3 children. We have 1 daughter that is an RN and superintendent of the IV unit at Chippenham Hospital in Richmond. Our second daughter graduated from Longwood College, and she is teaching school in West End in Richmond and Tuckahoe Middle School. Our son is vice president and head of a construction company in Amelia, and we have 6 adorable granddaughters. No boys, 6 adorable granddaughters. And we have been in FARMVILLE all these years. That's great.
All right, Connie.
Yeah, good.
Your turn, Connie.
I'm so full, I'm not sure I can make it. After high school, I did attend Longwood College, STC then. Then I worked for a while in Richmond. I came back to Longwood to FARMVILLE when my husband and I separated. And I started to work at Longwood in 1956. My daughter at that time was 3 years old. I retired from Longwood as Director of Purchasing in 1986. I worked for Longwood for 30 years and been retired for 7 years and love every bit of it. My daughter has been married for almost 19 years. She lives in Richmond, has a daughter 15 and a son 17. And they are the apple of my eye.
The greatest.
Okay, Aunt Ron.
Great.
And I'm delighted to be here. And we have enjoyed working on this tonight. But the entire committee has agreed this is our last time. If anybody else wants to do it, be our guest.
Last time. I don't think we're all going to be living 25 years.
If you want to work it out, then ask me.
Walter will help.
I'm Frank Baldwin. been living here all my life. Got my wife Marion. We got 3 children, 2 grandchildren, all of them are boys.
That has been my girl.
So that's your girlfriend.
That's what you get.
I'm Al LaFoon. This is my wife Dot. We've dated 4 years at Longwood. We have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, 2 grandkids. Real close to living with us, in fact. We're full-time babysitters. So if you think you'll have a lot of time, if you keep grandkids ever come there, you don't. Stay busy all the time. Been in a construction business, building supply business, and I'm half retired now. I work 2 days a week. I'm enjoying it. Thank you.
There you go. Is that all right, brother? I'm retired, living in Wilmington, North Carolina. I have 5 children and 8 grandchildren. Unfortunately, Beanie died after a liver transplant back in 1990. But with all the kids and the grandchildren, I'm having a great time traveling around. They're from the Gulf Coast of Alabama to Pennsylvania. Great being here.
Great. Good story.
We have been away from Farmville ever since we married, but it's nice to be back. We have lived over much of Virginia and 15 years in Georgia, Dunwoody. But we decided once a Virginian, always a Virginian, and we came home. So we're living in Brandonville. I taught for 25 years, 12 and a half in Virginia, 12 and a half in Georgia. We have 2 sons, 2 grandchildren. Our older grandchild is a boy graduating from Fishburne Military School in 3 weeks. And our little one is a girl, and you talk about an apple in your eye, it's the only girl in the family. And she is in Columbia, South Carolina. And it's good to be back and to see her back. I'm Jane Glenn Jones, and this is my better half over here, Donald Jones. After graduating from Longwood many long years ago, I taught for 6 years. Then I had our son, and who is living in California, in Berkeley now, and they have just presented us, and I guarantee you, with the oldest grandparents with a 3-month-old grandchild. It's the only one we'll ever have, I guess. But we waited 15 years for it. And Glenn told Gail that if they did not have a child by the time he was 40, he was going to find another somebody to have a baby. So she sort of pushed it up, because he's going to be 40 in October. So 3 months ago she did have one, and it was a mutual agreement thing. They really wanted one. But he's a building contractor with his own business in happily to say, he's doing real well because of that great big fire in Oakland, which was a terrible thing, but good for the contractors. But anyway, I did work for, after having him, I was there for 3 years. Then I went to Virginia Power and worked 18 years there as home economist. And then they reorganized the company, and as Donald says, they fired me. They actually eliminated the entire sales department, which was fine. But I decided, well, maybe I better go back into teaching. So I renewed my certificate, and in the meantime, this was spring, so I thought, well, I'll just do a little substitute. Don't ever substitute. If you do, you'll decide you never want to teach again. So after 2 days of substituting, I tore up the contract. I said, no, I'm not going to teach. I don't want any part of this. I thought they were all retired. I really did, but they really did. But they, I'm sure they're nice children. But since then, I have been listening to my friends give me advice. And back last December, my friends decided I should run for city council in South Boston. And idiot that I am, I did, and I won. And it's the hardest job I ever did in my whole life. You make a lot of enemies, just like Billy knows. And but you make a lot of friends too, you really do. But it's fun. Everybody ought to try the political side one time. One time. 4 years, that'll be enough. So right now, that's what we're in the middle of now. But we're having a good time. And we're traveling a lot back and forth to California since it's granddaughter. But we do have a good time. And everybody ought to try it. Really should. I can recommend it.
In 1944, I married this fellow that I went to high school with, and I've been holding on to his coattails ever since, so I'll let him tell you what we've been doing.
Hey, that's a big issue. Let's see, where did you start?
In 1944.
By the way, I'll make a statement. Em was the only one I ever dated.
He doesn't know what he meant. He doesn't know what he meant. Don't tell it.
But anyway, we've had a great 49 years, soon be 49 years together. And from 1944, let's see, I went into the Marine Corps. From the Marine Corps came back to Hampton, Sydney, graduated in 1950, a year behind Billy. And, oh, was it, you got it 48?
48.
48, okay. I was telling Virginia Ferry earlier that based on Billy and I stealing the translations from Latin that she would translate, I ended up teaching Latin at Southfield High School in Southfield, Virginia. And I coached there a couple of years. From there, I was starving to death painting schools in the summertime, and I got a job at Burlington Industries. And remained with Burlington for 34 years, and traveled quite a bit in Burlington. And I retired in '86, and since that time I've been trying to play golf quite a bit. Miss my ball frequently, but I'm not the golfer that Curry is. But we've had a great time. We've got 2 children, 4 grandchildren. Our daughter lives in Houston, Texas. Our son lives nearby in North Carolina, where we live. We've had, as I said, almost 49 years together, and it's been great. And this is a wonderful experience to come back after graduating 50 years ago. And one of the sad moments that I have is the fact, if I read the Farmville Herald correctly, Farmville High School will soon be torn down. And that is a real sad fact, Billy. But let me tell you a story about Billy. Very quickly. In 1941, or maybe it was 40, TJ, my older brother, and I were in the boat business, building boats. And of course, we lived on the Buffalo River, not far from off of Oak Street there. And Billy was in the market for a boat. So we had built our first edition of a boat. It wasn't a fine-looking boat by any means. But anyway, we sold it to Billy for $3. And Billy had no way of getting it home, so he borrowed somebody's wagon. Pulled that wagon, that boat from Oak Street all the way up to First Avenue. But he really got taken by us for $3. He took the $3 and built another boat, which was much better. Thank you.
I'm Catherine Dowdy Bubb, and when I graduated from Farmville High School in 1943, I only had one talent, and that was basketball. But I was second to Marion Hubbard, of course, because I wasn't tall enough. But I also played hockey. So when we moved the day after graduation to Richmond, Virginia, I thought, what am I going to do? I can't go to college on basketball, because in those days you couldn't get a scholarship on that. So I enlisted in the only college I knew at that time, which was the USO, a military college. And I became a USO dancer to all the GIs, and I majored in military science and tactics. Now you guys can figure all that out from there. So as a result of that, I went to Virginia Beach, the Cavalier, and I met a handsome young military officer whom I married in 1948. So off in 1949, the very next year, we were off to Japan, where we were in Fukuoka, same place you were. Only you had been there earlier, right? Earlier. And then he went to the Korean War in June 1950, and I stayed. So I became a military wife for 22, 23 years then. We had, after our tour in Japan, we came back, and that's the only time I came back to Farmville to see Mary Virginia one time. Other than my 25th reunion, and that time, that's the only times I've been back in Farmville. And then, although my family lives in Richmond, and I've been there many times. So then, in 1955, we were back, after a stint in Oklahoma and a couple of other bases, we were back in Germany for 3 years. So then in 1957, we came back from Germany to Atlanta, Georgia. stationed at Fort McPherson, and that's where we've been ever since. And we have 2 daughters. One lives in California and one lives in Alabama. I have 7 grandkids. And unfortunately, my husband died 6 years ago. But before his military career, when his military career was over, he managed country clubs in Atlanta and all over. And let's see, that brings us up to, I'm a state employee. I'm still working full-time. I'm ready to retire in another year. And I've been after everybody to have this 50th reunion because my husband had his 50th reunion and I was so jealous. So I've been writing Billy and writing Mary over there and everybody to have one. And I'm so glad that they finally did. When that letter came, I said, no matter what I'm doing, where I'm going, I am going right now. I called Delta to make my reservation immediately. So I'm just so happy to be here. And although I would have liked to have had association with all of you, it just didn't happen that way. But I'm not unhappy that my life was the way it was. And I think your life has all been wonderful, and I'm so glad to be here.
Well, my name is Ben Cox, and when we graduated in 1943, I went straight into the Navy, and right after graduation, a few days later, and I spent 3 years in the Navy, and I went back to school under the GI Bill, and I joined the FBI after I got out of school, and I spent 25 years in the FBI, and they sent me to 6 different offices, 6 different cities, and one of them was New York City. I spent 13 years there, and when I was in New York City, I was invited to a cocktail party. I didn't particularly want to go because it was late on a Friday night and I was sort of tired. So I flipped a coin. Heads, I'll go to the cocktail party. Tails, I'll go to the movies. And the thing, as a result of the coin landing up heads, I got a wife and 3 children. And I don't know if the movie was any good or not.
I'm Marjorie Mason McLam. I have 2 boys. David Earl's with me tonight, my oldest son. I have another son at home who was married 2 weeks ago today. And I have 1 granddaughter who is a registered nurse at Johnston Women's Hospital. And we just enjoy, our family enjoys each other. We're close together. So we just enjoy each other a lot. And I'm not doing anything. I worked for John Singer Gravy for 15 years, whom Billy knows very well. And then I went to work for the doctors in Blackstone. I worked for the Blackstone Family Practice in 19. And I turned 62 July the 24th.
You were young.
No, this was in 1988. That's key. July the 28th, I walked out of the door and said goodbye. So I have been enjoying my home and enjoying going places and doing what I want to do. And this is great. I was so happy when I got my letter that we will have it. This is great. And we really enjoyed it.
I'm Charlotte Warwick Hartman, and this is my husband, Warren. After I left Farmville High School, I realized my dream and got married. I'm married by soldier, and he took me to Pennsylvania to live. He worked for, his most recent employment was for the state of Pennsylvania as a special auditor in a special audit group. And from there, well, in the meantime, we had 5 children.
In the meantime.
In between. I have to sit, I'm sorry. But we have 5 children, 4 boys and a girl. Our children are scattered. We have one in Colorado, and he works for the state of Colorado. We have one in Wyoming. He works for, he subcontracts to Exxon there, and he does air conditioning for Exxon. Then we have our next son works for Edison of California Electric Company, and our youngest son is the CEO for a corporation out in California. And our daughter lives at home. She married near us. She's not at our home. She lives near us, and she married a man that graduated from the Air Force Academy. And Oh, I thought I'd speak to that. My daughter married a man that graduated from the Air Force Academy. And of course, they spent some time in the military. I have 11 and a half grandchildren.
11 and a half. What's the half?
Well, that's going to be in December. And we have their youngest is a little over a year old. Yes. And so I really have realized my goal and my dream. I'm very happy, and I couldn't want to be anywhere else but here today.
Married for 39 years. The bill shelter is temporarily deserted. There it goes. We have 3 absolutely beautiful children. One in New York, one in Richmond, and one only 4 miles away in Burkeville. And 4 of probably the best-looking grandchildren in the world. 2 boys and 2 girls, ranging in age from 12 down to 2.5. And we took early retirement about 5 years ago, and since then we've done absolutely nothing but have a good time. We fish, play golf, visit our grandbabies. Monday morning early, we're leaving for Nags Head. So where we'll fish for a while, and it's a great life. And this is wonderful, and I'm so glad to see all of you. You all look wonderful. You too.
This is my husband, Lee, and we have been married for 47 years in June, and we have 2 children. One daughter works at here in town, lives here at F.W. Hubbard Insurance Company. I have one son that is in Pittsburgh. He is in the Air Force, and he's a captain, and has 3 more years before he will retire from the Air Force. And I retired from Longwood Well Drilling Company in 1987, and since then I have been enjoying life at home. So many people told me when I quit work that I would get so bored. I said I will never get bored as many things as I have been aiming to do since I've been working. And I said anyway, being bored is a state of mind. And so I am happy to be here tonight and see everybody.
How I shall stand as my back is not to everybody. Well, when I finished the high school, I came here to Longwood, finished in 1947. And as you Longwood graduates know, the superintendents used to come and talk to they'd post outside of the dean's office where they had openings. And there was an opening for business education. That was my major, with English was my minor, for West Warren County, Colonial Beach, Lake T. Newton. So the first Sunday in August 1947, Mom and Dad took me to Colonial Beach. Never heard of the place. When I got there and saw the school, I said, I'll never go back there. If I could find Mr. Newton today, he could have my contract. School was dirty. I didn't like where I was to board. My mother said, when you get down there and start a church, you'll like it. I said, no way. I've been there 40-some years. I retired early so that Sam and I could travel. I lost him in 1988 after 2 months to the day being sick with cancer. And I didn't try to stop my retirement papers. My principal told me that I should, but I didn't listen. And now, Jane, I do substitute every chance I get. Enjoy it. I don't miss the paperwork. I miss the classroom. I have 2 daughters. One lives in Richmond. The other one is in King George County. She was married in September to the director of music of our church. And my older daughter, I have 1 grandson, 4 years old. And he's precious. And it's great to be here.
Videotaping this, would you give your name? They didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
Mary Lee Dickerson Ellis.
I'm Dick Moore, and this is my wife Connie. We reside at 1415 Gillum Drive in Farmville. We raised 2 daughters, Patricia and Janet. Patricia lives in Richmond and Janet lives in Atlanta. She's married and has 2 children, one daughter, Marley, and one son, David Arnold. And since 1959, I've owned and operated Morris Distributor in Farmville. I've enjoyed working on this committee with the other members, and it's good to see everybody. And maybe we might Have a long one.
I'm Rachel Kelsey McBride, and I didn't know that I was so old until I heard all of these people say they've been married 47 years. I've been married 21. When I graduated from Longwood, I went to Hot Springs, Virginia, as far away as I could get from FARMVILLE. Stayed there 2 years. I didn't like the mountains. Moved to Blackstone, taught there 4. Then I found my niche in Newport News, Virginia. And I stayed there, I taught down there for 20 years. Right now, we're living, my husband and I are living in Yorktown, Virginia.
Paul Oliver, live in Richmond. It's my wife, Ellen. She's still my first wife. We got married. We got married in 48. Yeah. From high school, I don't know what happened, but I went back to high school after I graduated with this class and worked on my high school master's degree, I guess, whatever you call it. Mainly to play ball. It's easy to play ball when you're a year older than the rest of them. But anyway, I had a good time doing that, and it helped me a lot. And then I went to World War II, WW2, and in the Air Corps, and came out of the service, went to Virginia Tech, and met Ellen on the streets in Radford. She was going to Radford College. She was in Harrisonburg. And from there, we came to Richmond. She taught school. I went to work for an insurance company. It was 3 employees. And I retired 40 years later. We had 550 employees. So it was fun watching the company grow or helping it grow or getting in the way of its growth or whatever. But it was a good life we've had. We play golf. We travel. And I'm a pretty good golfer compared to my friends. My friends aren't any good either. we have a lot of fun. But I want to thank Billy, John, and Connie, and all of you on the committee for doing this. This has meant a lot to me. I really appreciate y'all putting this together. I'm having a good time. Hope to continue to have a good time.
I'm Bobby Bass, live in Richmond. But first I want to express my gratitude to the committee who decided me somewhat of an imposter to be on hand tonight on this occasion because I didn't really graduate with this class. I had an accident in December of my senior year and repeated senior year and graduated in class of 44, so I'm looking forward to another reunion next year. I want to present my bride, Judy Rick, who graduated from Longwood here back in what was it? Having trouble with my memory. I finished at high school here and went in the Navy, and from the Navy went to Maryville College for a couple of years, and then Paul Oliver got hold of me and convinced me to transfer up to Tech, and which I did and pursued a course of engineering there. In the meantime, before I could get there, he married Ellen, so I never saw anything of it. But anyway, since then I've worked for several companies, live in Richmond, retired about a little over a year ago, do some consulting for about a day to 2 days a week. Thanks again for this wonderful opportunity to see all of you. Obviously, I wasn't at the 25th, so, man, this was a memory game tonight.
My name is Marion Hubbard Carrington, and this is my husband, Tom Carrington. I've been married twice. I have 3 children and 9 grandchildren, and they're the prettiest, the best, the most gorgeous. They are hellions, every one of them, but I love them dearly, and we have learned how to say no. I have worked. Right now, I let him take care of me, and I live every day as if it's my last. I thoroughly enjoy life and love seeing all of you. Have a good time.
Okay, I guess last but not least. Anyway, my name is Mabel Weaver Taylor, and I went to Longwood for 2 years and took a 2-year commercial course. Worked as a stenographer in Richmond. My boyfriend got out of the Navy after World War II. Then we got married. We've been married for 47 years. I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren. And 2 of my children live in Fredericksburg, the other one's in Washington. So we get together real often, have a great time. But it's wonderful being here with everybody tonight.
I'm Billy Watkins. The beautiful girl down there that Morris Smith brought tonight is my wife. We heard a lot of lies tonight, a lot of good things. Ashby did tell the truth. He did stick me on that boat. I'll tell you another thing about that Latin business, though. Yeah. Ashby and I both were at Hampton at the same time, and I had to have 2 years of Latin. He had to have 2 years of Latin. I passed Latin with a 75.002. He failed Latin. He went to teach Latin, and I...
That's supposed to tell it.
Oh, well, it was a great time. We had a good time.
On him.
Norm and I were married in 1949. It's been a long time. After I graduated from high school, I fiddled around in service and in school. I went to more schools than you can shake a stick at. I finally finished law school, came back to Farmville in 1950, started practicing law. And Norma supported me for now on 5 years. And we finally got to the point that I could pay the bills, and we started having children, and we've had 3 of the most beautiful children in the world. We've got a little daughter that's just perfect, 2 sons that are so-and-so. Our daughter lives, all of our children live in Richmond. Got 2 grandchildren, that's right, don't forget the grandchildren. But all of our children live in Richmond. Our daughter is married to a mighty fine young man. She introduced him to us. She said he plays in a band and has a daytime job too. But we love him dearly. Our oldest son is a lawyer. He's married a lawyer. Don't tell him I told you, but I think she's smarter than he is. They have 1 son, and we have 1 son who is still in school. He was in the service. He was injured in a motorcycle accident. He spent nearly a year in the hospital, and he came back and studied nursing. He graduated well in his class in Longwood and at MCV, and now then he worked at the cardiac surgery unit at Richmond, and now he has gone back to be a nurse anesthetist. Norma's done well with her children, I tell you, she's done well. But it's so good to see you all. It's just been a ball. I don't know whether there's anything else. Who had an anniversary? Who was it? Somebody had an anniversary tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, Lucy. How many years is it?
39 years.
39 years. Let's give them a big hand. It's so wonderful to see all of you. Now, Marion, you ain't going to do this too bad, are you? You ain't going to mess it up?
You got surprised
the worst in the world.
She is.
Is this kind of one of this is your life business?
It might be.
Hold on. Everybody hold your hats. Okay, Miss.
Billy, why don't you make a couple of announcements before Marion gets
Okay,
started
yes, I will.
about the video
Right.
and about parking. I'll tell about parking.
Okay.
If-
Connor's going to tell you about parking.
You are a take it afterwards, Billy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I told Overton, our chief, as well as Jimmy Husker, chief of Longwood Police. If any of you get a parking ticket, give it to me and they will take care of it. Okay,
hold it down.
that's just okay.
How long is that up for good?
We've got it until midnight, John, not next week.
Two other important things. You will notice the sign, Farmville High School 53 Union. After we adjourn, we need to get in front of that sign and have a picture taken for the Herald. You notice this fine young man who has been with us tonight and is taking videotapes. And we have arranged to have those tapes duplicated in the case anybody wants them. I estimate the cost to be around $10. I'm just giving you a rough figure. If any of you are interested in that, would you please sign this little thing and put your address on it and let us know, and then we can work out a deal to get them all duplicated. We thank you for coming. You meant a lot to us. Thank you a lot. Okay? We just pass it around. Okay, Mary, it's your baby. Easy now.
Santa Claus is
Keeps coming.
First thing I want to say, though, we all came to have fun, didn't we? Okay.
You sure about that?
Well, I hope so, because all I am doing tonight is in plain fun. And I want everybody to take it that way. Even when I told that John picked up Jean on the street, well, he was real nice to her. She was walking up to Longwood with heavy luggage, and he stopped to say, "May I help you?" So I said she was a pickup.
I had a ham sitting sticker on my car. She looked at that first.
She looked at that first.
And then she said, "Okay, then."
She was right. Most good.
Yeah.
Do you remember when? When? 50 years ago, when 49 eager, beavers, starry-eyed, bushy-tailed students left Farmville High out to conquer the world. We're going to do it all, see it all, because we knew it all. We left. And in leaving, we left behind many, many good times, bad times, and we left many friends. And as Bobby told you, we left behind Bobby Bass. Due to a farm accident, he graduated the year behind us. It's nice having Bobby and Judy with us tonight. Bobby is a real old dear Rice friend of mine. We grew up together, and our parents were friends. Some of us left together. There was Billy Watkins and Virginia Farr. Billy, what happened to you? Did a Rice girl get her claws in you and couldn't turn you loose?
No, Peanut got jitty.
But I know those Rice girls. I know how they could get your back claws into somebody and they wouldn't dare turn loose from nothing.
Amen.
Norma knew a good thing when she saw it. And then there was Morris and Beanie. Due to our health problem, Beanie is no longer with us, and you certainly have our sympathy, Morris. I tell you, Beanie was a fine girl. She really was, and she's greatly missed. And then there is Emma and Ashby, still holding right in there, sticking right together. And the last time we had our reunion, we gave you some glue.
I still got it.
Oh, you did? Oh, good. You didn't have to use very much to hold you together. Well, tonight we're going to give you some bubble gum. And you still stick in there, okay?
Thank you. That's tea. You want one?
Thank you.
Well, you know, Emma was supposed to leave her... let me see, you were supposed to leave your humor to Helen Scruggs.
I didn't.
That's right, she didn't. You know the forms that you had to return back to say, where did you meet your husband? She said, ha-ha, as if you didn't know. And then she comes down, occupation. She said, a nagging housewife. The very idea, Emmy. You know women don't nag, honey. That's either PMS, but I'll tell you, women don't use nag.
I'm way past that.
You know, I thought we were going to have someone to sing to us tonight, but it turned out that
she left her musical ability to Ruth Bright, and that was Marjorie Mason. Marjorie, we're sorry that you gave all your musical ability to Ruth Bright, because we were certainly counting on you singing for us tonight. Well, anyway, we want you to take this musical note. It has the scales on it, so next time when we have another reunion, you be sure you practice up and you sing for us.
Already.
Thank you. Evelyn Motley, will you please stand up? Mabel, come in here.
You want to stand in the chair so people can see you?
Evelyn Motley, you were supposed to give your height to Pat Lynn, and I believe you did. Because, honey, I don't believe you have grown one little inch. Well, we got a little fertilizer here for you. We want you to sprinkle that in your shoes. And let me tell you something, you might grow on up here a little bit more, and I'll bet you'll see a whole lot of things you've been missing in life.
I can swear to that. You don't miss much.
Tell me when she comes back. Now, Frank Baldwin. I want you to